Should you move to save on taxes in retirement? Today, we will be answering that question using three scenarios to help us decide if moving is worth it. Now, let's review our retiree's current situation. Here we are. Let's take a look at this sample plan and get started. We have a million in a 401k with a 60/40 portfolio. We have $500,000 home that's fully paid off and $50,000 in cash. They're looking for about 5,000 in monthly retirement expenses. They're both age 62, retiring right now or in retirement, and they're pulling Social Security. We have in some general healthcare costs, additional healthcare costs, and some long term care funding. Pretty simple stuff. Income, I have them taking at 62 just for simplicity of analyzing these scenarios. And it's about $3,500 a month. And then we have them in New York right now. So let's take a look and see their probability of success for their retirement plan. Okay, so they're at 83%, which is acceptable. So now let's take a look. 83%. What if we had them in Florida, right? So exact same situation. House just moves, right? Same thing, just for simplicity's sake. What if they just were in Florida now? 83% goes to 84, 689. So they didn't save. They have a little bit more, not really much, and 1% better probability of success. Now, this originally shocked me. I thought moving to a low income tax state would save them a ton of money. And so let me explain the reason it did not, or it doesn't have as much of an effect as you would think. Number one is Social Security is not taxed in, let's say, a California or a New York or a lot of states. So roughly half their income right now is not being taxed by state income tax. So when they move from New York to Florida or California to Texas, whatever scenario you're in, only half that income is actually being reduced in taxes. So it doesn't make that much of a difference. Secondly, they're already in, right? If you take away Social Security, then they're maybe taking in $40,000 of income. They're in pretty low brackets, anyways. So what we can decide here is that on the lower end of the scale, lower income, lower net worth, lower spending, it doesn't have a significant impact to where you should probably get up and move to save a bunch of money. Now, 1% probability of success does help a little bit, right? But it's not much. Okay, here we are with scenario number 2. I've gone ahead and added, I'll just show you. I've added another million to their 401k, increased their spending to correlate with that, and actually added a $30,000 pension. And so now, based on that, in the state of New York, they're at an 80% probability with 1.26 ending. I just wanted to show you, as you increase up the net worth scale and as you increase up the income scale, it makes more and more of an impact, right? Which makes sense, right? The higher you go up in those progressive tax brackets and the more of your money that is taxed, it's going to help. So now it's at 82% moving to Florida. So a 2% increase from moving to a no income tax state, and your final net worth is a little bit higher. Okay, so we can see higher income, higher net worth, less Social Security compared to the rest of your income sources. Moving helps more. Okay, it's not that much though. It's quite surprising how moving is not, from an income tax point of view, does not save you that much money. It helps a little bit, but just from income tax alone, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so now here we are. We're going to do a third scenario. We're back at the original scenario. So $1 million 401k, $500,000 house, normal spending levels, no pension. And we're going to do a couple things here. So we're starting at 83%. Here's the current plan in New York, 83%, 6.6 million ending assets. And we're going to do a home relocation. But here I'm going to say, well, you move to Florida and you save a little bit on you buy a cheaper house, right? And then you're going to save and invest the rest. So after transaction costs, that takes us from an 83 to an 87%. So that's one of the additional savings that relocating can help you with is, well, can you buy a, can your money go further down there? So there you go. That's a 4% jump. Well, I'm sorry. 1% was originally, remember, from the taxes, and then 3% more from buying a smaller home. And then let's say, you know what? Also, you're gonna spend a little bit less money because it's just cheaper down there, right? In Texas, Florida, or wherever. This could be, you could model this and you could do going from New York City to upstate New York or New Jersey or something. You could figure it out. But I've looked at a map and it says New York's about 30% more expensive than Florida. So let's take that for example. I'm actually discounting that by a little bit and doing a more of a conservative number. But we can see even here, saving $500 a month for the remainder of your plan gave you what, an additional 4% increase to your probability of success. So I just wanted to quantify that for you in here, the actual changes you make in your plan and how big of an impact they can make on you. So what are the takeaways from this video? Well, if you're an average retiree moving just to save on income taxes, it won't do you much good, right? I mean, we increased our probability of success for this retirement plan by 1 or maybe 2%. So for average retirees, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, the savings from an improvement to the probability of success in your retirement plan from cost of living adjustments or from being able to buy a house for cheaper down there and invest the rest, that was quite significant. So that's really where you would be saving all of your money and being able to improve your plan that way. But you have to really consider, is it worth not being close to family and friends? Is it maybe better or worse weather? Are you going to miss your city that you're from? Or are you going to miss your community and different things like that? So those are all things to consider. Hopefully this helped. Leave any questions you have. I'm happy to help. Take care.